Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. And hello there, Nicola. Welcome. So, last time I mostly finished the character here. So, this time, it's going to be mostly about actually doing the background. Just have a couple of corrections I want to do, you know, as is normal. Let me group my ribbon stuff here. But I noticed that I made her torso a little bit long. So I wanted to adjust that. Yeah, it's like if I look at the reference here, there's not this much space. And especially since I'm going for something low angle, I want there to be like even less. So I figured that I would just grab everything and just move it all on up. So I don't even think that this will be that hard to fix. So such things are always nice. Oh yeah, and I want to get rid of my lighting for now. That will come later. I think I'm going to do the background before I do all the lighting stuff. Because I'm not entirely sure how I want to handle it, but I'll figure it out. It's fine. I mean, it's just like what I said in the last crony stream of just, don't worry, I'll figure it out later. It's all good. Alright, so it looks like I'll have to transform this a couple of times. You can see that when I start, like, pushing things up, the hollowed out part is getting covered up by some parts that are not hollowed out. So I would just prefer to, I don't know, select it multiple times and bring it on up so I don't have to hollow all that out again. So here we go. Just gonna get on in there and hopefully get this right. And I think I kind of also want to adjust the bottom part of the skirt here a little bit. Kinda, I don't know. It's all perspective stuff. Just to make it all look a little bit better there. Okay, there we go. I think that's pretty okay now. I'll fix that in a second here, but first I would like to adjust the heart a little. I think it is also a little bit too long. So I'm gonna go slide this up. There we go. That's already starting to make the perspective look a little better, I think. So now I'm just going to get into some individual bits of movement here. Oh, no, I have the dress all in a group. Nice. So I can just kind of move it all up together. And I want these leafy things sitting there on her waist to be covering up part of the heart there. There we go. Yeah, just like that. And about how long is her skirt? About knee length, it looks like. Yeah, that looks about right to me. Okay. Now, before I do that, I kind of want to adjust these leafy things here. So let's see. How do they, like, tuck into this, and how do they sit? I think I might actually have the tails of this ribbon a bit long. I should fix that first. So, once again, I'm just gonna slide some things up. I already think that the perspective here looks way more convincing now, so I'm happy. Sometimes it doesn't take much to fix this. I will have to do some adjustments on the shading, but I'd kind of like to get everything laid out first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. Not quite happy with the shape here, so I'm just going to adjust that. I'm just pulling at it with the liquify tool. Keeps things nice and simple. Some parts I think I'll have to actually, like, draw out, but always find that liquefy is a good first step when I'm just kind of going through and sculpting things. I do approach it with kind of a similar mindset to sculpting, I think, of just pulling the shapes out of nothing and gradually breaking things up and that kind of thing. I just find it easier than using lines, so that's why I draw in blobs. It makes sense to my brain. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good for a little bit of basic structure for those leafy parts. Just going to adjust this side a little. I wasn't quite as happy with it as I was this one. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Alright, I'm going to hide the foreground for a second because I do believe it might actually need some legs in there. Hello there, Wayu. Welcome back. We might. I'm not entirely sure. But nonetheless, I will go ahead and start getting this dress right. But yes, I'm just here fixing up some stuff that I didn't like quite as much. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I just wasn't quite satisfied with the perspective on her body, so I'm going ahead and fixing that up. I think her face is pretty cute, though. It's a very sad little face, but I do think it is very cute. So I am satisfied. I think that's part of why I wanted to come through and fix the body here. Because I just wasn't as happy with it as compared to the face. So I'm just trying to get all this shaped. Let's see here. So it looks like the leaves are about the same length as the dress. The dress is very slightly longer. So that's something worth keeping in mind here. Go ahead and just kind of start getting this okay. Yeah, I have some adjustment I want to make at the hair. Like right now it makes no sense because I have the foreground hidden. But I assure you, all these random shadows in the bangs, that they make sense when I have the foreground on. But I do have a few adjustments I want to make there. I think it's always worth just spending a little bit of extra time getting the faces and whatnot, like, just right. Okay, that's fine for now. I'm using Wacom Intuos Pro. I have all the information on tools and whatnot in the description. So you can look there if you are curious. Okay, so it looks like the dress might still just go off screen. I am cool with this. Sounds good to me. So I guess that means I don't really need legs. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and fill it all in. Alright, let's start getting the folds in. Just a general idea. I imagine a lot of this will be changing once I go in and put the foreground back on. You probably can. I don't think the tablet hardware matters that much, as long as it's got pressure sensitivity and it feels good. You just gotta practice the art skills. I think tools and whatnot matter less than people think they do. Alright, then start putting in the bottom of the dress here. Let's see. Okay. But don't worry, it takes time to get good at anything, and I think art, it's not an easy skill to pick up. So you just gotta give yourself lots of time to figure it out. But it'll come if you keep trying. Alright, I'm gonna make this dress a little bit more bell-shaped. Kind of want to bring it in on her waist a little bit more here. I think I'd actually like to do that with the leaves, too. No. I mean, parts of it are probably going to be a little bit blurred, but I just need to draw it at some point, and I haven't done that yet. I do not wish to... Oh, because I have you on the wrong thing. Okay. But yeah, today is probably going to be... the background day. So we'll see how long it takes me. I don't know how long it's gonna take me. I only kind of know what I want to do with it, so I'll be figuring that out. But yeah, I remember that when I was initially doing this, I kind of wanted to make it an evergreen forest. But when I started looking at pictures of evergreens and whatnot, I think I'm gonna go back and make it a deciduous forest instead. Just because evergreens have like branches all the way down the trees, and I think that will make for a less good composition. Yes, the picture is not finished. So you should not take what you see here as a sign of what it will look like. I have not added my mood lighting yet. I like to do that at the end. At least have the character finished before I do any of that. But I think I will actually be finishing the background before I do any of that. Okay, let's get the trim doing trim things now. I'll just leave it all in shadow for the time being. Let's see, what does it look like? Just little waves. Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, that'll be nice. I do have a goal for next year to hit the 500 sub market at least. 1,000 would be awesome, but... Oh, hello there, Amanda. Welcome. Okay, so I want to make sure that this trim, even though it, you know, it has a more U shape to it, I want to make sure that it follows the perspective of the picture. And that is, you know, the viewer is like a little tiny worm on the ground looking up. So rather than the dress going like this, is there a spot where it can be seen? Oh, I have it on Preserve Alpha. Oh. Hello then. Hello then, Jessica. So the trim, rather than doing something like this and just kind of going down and then back up, I want to keep it more in perspective, like we're seeing it from the ground. So if the dress is shaped kind of like this, where we see up underneath it, I want to make sure that the trim is folding up with it. So if it was a straight line, it'd be like this. But because it's kind of wavy, it's going to be like a little bit more like this. So, like that. So I'm trying to keep it that shape. And normally, this trim would go upward, but because of the angle of the dress, I kind of want it to go downward a little bit. So it's going to be a lot flatter than it otherwise would be. I'm not going to draw this too carefully right now. That will come a little bit later. And hello there, Blood Bullet. Welcome back. So I don't really want to render this out nicely until I have my foreground back on, just because I think that that would result in a lot of unnecessary work, because parts of this are going to be all covered up. So I'm just trying to get the general gist of the shape, make sure I'm happy with it, so that this way I can trust what I drew once the foreground is back on. So that's all that's happening here. I do want to make sure that I am happy with the shapes and everything that I have drawn before I go and turn the foreground back on. It's going pretty okay, just doing some corrections on the character, and then I think it'll be time to wrangle this background and make it all look nice. Right now it's pretty messy. I basically just did the bare minimum to get my ideas down. Alright, I think I'm going to put a little bit of shadow here, just to kind of get everything on the same page. Not being super neat about it, but that's okay. There we go. Let's see, I think I still want the trim to kind of go around a little bit more like... There we go. Alright, and I think that matches the perspective that I was going for a little bit more accurately. Oh, thank you. I like the way it turned out. I just realized that I had the perspective on her body a little bit wrong, so I was just adjusting that now. And then I want to make some adjustments on her hair. But I think everything else is pretty much the way I want it to be, so I am pleased. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit more convincing. I guess I'll go ahead and turn the foreground back on. There we go, and now I know which areas of the body I have to care about. And I think before I render all that out, I want to start making the adjustments on the hair that I wanted to make. I still think it feels a little flat. And like it's not matching all of the perspective that I wanted to. So I figured that I would just make the adjustments I need, and I grabbed the wrong layer. And now Krita's slightly freaking out. Don't worry about it. I guess we'll have to give it a second. It's doing the loading thing. Okay. I didn't break anything, did I? No, we're good. Okay. Krita was just confused for a moment. I just kind of want this front bang to curve a particular way, and I'm just not entirely satisfied with it at the moment. I want to make it look like we're seeing her from underneath. And I just don't think that's happening yet. I'm trying to be careful not to change too much, just because I really don't want to re-render all the hair, but I do feel like I have to change a little. And then I also want to adjust the shadows a little bit. But yeah, that's probably about all I need. Alright, well I do have VODs of all of my videos. So they will just always be up on the channel, under the live tab, if you ever want to go and find ones that you missed. Okay, let's go and adjust the shadows. I want them to be a little bit closer here. Trying not to interfere with the tiny little strands too much because I don't want to redraw them. I really don't. All right. Now I'll grab the shadow color and just smooth it all out. Get it all going just the way I want. In fact, I should grab the normal color just so I can smooth out from both directions. Let's see here. There we go. Looking good. Now the side is curved in a little bit more, so I will respect that in my shadow here. Try to get the shape very, very similar if I can. There we go. I think that should all be pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to do some actual drawing on the hair. Get all that right. So first I want to curve this a little bit more nicely. I don't know. I just don't like the way it looks at the moment. But that should be easy enough to fix. I might need to adjust the hair shadows again. And actually, I don't like that. I changed my mind. I'm going to keep it going this way. Okay. The rest I think looks alright though. So the big thing that was bothering me was that I felt like my shadows on the tips here were a little bit too heavy. So I'm just going to go and make them a little bit thinner. That was honestly the big thing that I wanted to fix. The perspective could have been better, which is why I adjusted it. But I didn't actually think it was that bad off. But this was just too much shadow. Way too much. And it was making the hair look a little bit heavy and not as soft as it could. So I figured that I should go in and just fix all that up. I'm never quite sure how to answer that question. It's like, strictly speaking, I like derped around a bit for a long time. So if you're including all that time when I was really basically wanting to learn, but wasn't taking it very seriously and would often go months, if not years, without drawing, I'd say probably about 20 years. But if you're talking when I started taking it seriously and started drawing almost every day and that kind of thing, that would be closer to 3 or 4. So, either way, it has been a while. But I still feel like I have lots to learn. I do. And I am hoping to do many things next year. So, we'll see what I end up doing and what my art looks like in a year. That should be fun. I mean, I look at what my art looked like last year, and I'm like, man. The difference is huge. I mean, when I look at all my stream assets, like, I just like, God, I want to redraw them all. And those were from 2 years ago. So... Well, I mean, I had other stuff going on in my life a long time ago, and here it's like I decided I wanted to do more art, so I did. and it's been great. Highly recommend it. Alright, I do think that hair looks much better now. I do kind of want to add some more hair-like spots to it, though. Especially hair in front like here. It's worth taking a bunch of extra time to get it just right. Always is. So let's split this up a little bit more and just make things look nice, a little bit nicer. I don't mind making the hair on this one a little bit crazy, because she's supposed to look a little bit disheveled and panicked. So I think it's appropriate. And I'll just continue around all the bits of hair I'm not quite happy with, and adjust until I am happy. That's just gonna be how it goes. I don't think you need a lot of time to pick up drawing. It's not like you have to draw every day, like I do, because I can. But, I mean, if you can't, you know, just find some time to have some fun on the weekends or something. I don't know. You can get good at your own pace. It's fine. I guess more comparable for me would be writing lately, because I have been trying to write some things, and I can't always write every day. I mean, to be fair, it is Inktober, and that does suck up a lot of time, because I'm insisting on finishing it. But I generally find that even if I poke at it for 5 or 10 minutes, I can generally get like 100 words down, and that's 100 more words than I would have written if I didn't write anything at all, so it's like that's progress. And it's actually been going really well, so even such little bits of progress can make a big difference. If you find something that you really want to do, sometimes you gotta make time for things. Well, stop it. If you want to do it, do it. Alright, gonna touch up her eyelashes now, since certain bits of hair did move. Don't like the shape of this eyelash, so let's fix it. There we go. Because the hair moved, certain eyelashes need to be more properly rendered out now. Okay. I'll still put some shadows around the hair here, but otherwise, I think this is all right. How about this side? Do I need to adjust anything here? No, this side seems fine. Cool. All right. Okay, let's see. I guess I'll go and adjust and finish rendering out the... Oh no, I should fix the ribbon before I do the leaves. Okay, we'll do the ribbon first. And then I will go and adjust the leaf. Or Yeah, then adjust the leaf. Yeah, I got this in the right order. My brain didn't dyslexia any of this. It's fine. This does mean I will have to redo this entire little highlight, but that's okay too. So I kind of want it to be lit from the sides a little. It'll be smaller than it was, but I want a little tiny bit of highlight there. I think that'll look nice. There we go. Okay, I think that's fine. So I'll just go do the other side. I just want to keep this pretty simple. I don't think this little ribbon has to be complicated at all. Let me put just a little bit more shadow on it though. Just because now the shadow is like largely hidden by other things, and I think it's making the ribbon look a little bit less interesting, so let's go ahead and just add a little bit of extra stuff to it. Just a little bit. Like I just said, I don't want it to be complicated. But I do want there to be a little bit of stuff there to make it interesting and add a little bit of extra texture. Alright, I think that's good. So now I can do the leaf thing. Smooth out all those edges and get the shading in a good spot. And I think that'll be all my corrections on her for now. I do plan on doing all the mood lighting at the end. So I'll just leave it like this until I have the background wrangled. And then I can make her extra shiny. Ooh. I do love making my characters extra shiny. Okay. So I'm trying to make it look like we're seeing a little bit more of the side of the leaf here, since I'm going for a low angle view. So I just feel like we would see a little bit more of the side of the leaf here. And thus, I just make this part a little bit thicker. And I'll just keep shaping it as necessary, taking out all the parts that I think are sticking out just a little bit too much. There we go. And then I think that this part starts tucking into her dress here. So I just kind of want to roll out the edge here. Kind of give that kind of impression. Okay. And then I do want a little divot where I think that this leaf thing folds as it's tucking into her dress back there. I'll go ahead and make these shadows a little bit longer too. Okay. Yeah, fortunately, fixing all this isn't going to take that long at all. It was a pretty simple fix, and I think it is already making the picture look much better. So I'm glad I did it. Okay, let's go ahead and fix the shirt now. Got a lot of jagged edges over here from where I had to do a bunch of transforming. Oh yeah, I should probably put the cast shadow from the ribbons on the leaf thing as well. You know, that actually seems kind of important, but well, I've started this part, so I guess I'll go ahead and finish it before I do that. Get her sides here all properly lined up. Okay, and now let's go ahead and put those cast shadows before I forget again. There we go. I think that's about all it needs. And then here, just kind of like... there. And now the ribbons are properly casting their shadows. Okay. Back to the shirt. So I actually think most of this is going to be in shadow now. I guess there'll be a little bit of a light spot just right in the middle. But that's about it, really. So that makes my life easy. I'll take it. I do appreciate when things make my life easy. So, sounds good to me. And then I think there should be a little bit of shirt right there. Okay. Oh, I have the layer locked. That's why. There we go. Okay. Now for the dress here. Are you not the same color? I guess not. Okay, so this is slightly lighter then, huh? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I didn't actually notice. I'm actually gonna do the trim first. Just because it is sitting on top of these pink parts. So I figure once I get this right, then I can just move on to the pink parts and get those all looking good. I like to get the things further in front first. That's why I started with the foreground. So that this way, once I have it drawn, I know exactly which areas are going to be covered up by other areas. And I know that I don't have to worry about those areas as much. Like, I don't have to worry about the dress underneath this leaf. It's covered up by the leaf. No one's ever going to see it. So I don't have to be very specific there. I don't have to at all. Okay, and I do think that I will make this center part, the part that's in the light on the dress there, lighter. But I think I actually want to know where I'm going to be putting the shadows on this before I do that. Because I think I'm going to change certain parts of this. So I want to make sure that it looks like it's being tucked in over here, so I'm going to add a few extra folds. They don't have to go all the way down, though. They can just kind of hang out here. I think this looks fine. Maybe just make this one a little bit more diamond-shaped. And then I will just smooth out all of the colors here. Get it into that final state I want it to be in. Because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, with any luck, once I finish here for today, I will be done with the character. And I will never have to change anything on her again. That's kind of what I'm going for today. I just want to finish her off. And then down here, I don't feel like I need as many folds. So I won't put in as many. Just enough to kind of keep things interesting. Although it is frilled, isn't it? Maybe I should. Where are you? Oh, only a little. Oh yeah, I'll add a few. But this area is not super noticeable, so I'm not going to overdo it. I think that's enough to give the right impression. So I'll leave it there. Over here, I think should be in shadow. I guess you already are. Okay, fair enough. And now I can properly light the trim part. Because now I know exactly where the light parts are. And it's nice and easy. I just plop the light color down and I'm already done. So, yay. All right, there we go. So I think this is where I will leave her. I think it's looking pretty good. So, time to wrangle a background. That's going to be interesting. I say slightly panicked, but I think it'll be all right. So I guess the first thing I'll do is I'm going to get these other birds. They're not going to be as detailed as the birds here. Like this bird, yeah, this bird is going to show us what all the other birds look like. Actually, I think I'm going to collapse my Chibidoki group. There we go. So yeah, I'll start with the birds here. And they might get occasional hints of detail, but not a lot. Not a lot at all. Maybe just enough to make them a little bit more feathery looking. These guys are off in the background doing background things, so they're not super relevant. They're not. So I don't have to be quite as thorough with these as I was the one in the foreground. You know, the one that has a little bit of wing overlapping her face. The main focal point. These don't do that. So they're just not as important. But I'll still work hard and make sure that all their shapes are to my liking and whatnot. And make sure that they are still recognizable as food-stealing crows. That's what's important there. I'm going to go ahead and hide all the food that they're stealing for now. Just so I can get them looking all right. Fortunately, I think this will be like the easiest part here overall. I don't even know what I'm doing with this one. I think these are tail feathers. If they weren't, they are now. Okay, so I don't remember how many birds I drew. But it looks like I got most of them with that pass. So I'll just, you know, make sure their silhouettes look nice. We'll start there. Make sure they have all their bird-like parts and that they all look very bird-esque. And then the other thing that I want to make sure of before I fully render everything out is just that they're sized in a good way. So I just want to make sure that none are too big and none are too small, and that they're all working together for the sake of the composition. I'm not sure if these birds would necessarily work together in real life, but it's fine, because this is a drawing. So I can make them do whatever I want, and they have no say. Okay, so something like that. Is that okay? Maybe... Okay, I do have one up in the moon there, nice and far away. Well, maybe I'll just put another little wing kind of behind her head. Maybe not there. I don't think that reads. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to move this little wing that I plopped over here. Gotta bring him out and down a little. And this guy, I think I'm going to change his angle just a little, and I think I'll even make him just a touch smaller. I kind of want to make it look like they're circling around. And then you, friend, you are also going to turn a little and be shrunk. Okay, and I think I'll make this guy a little bit larger. And then maybe add another little close wing just over here. Or, nah, this is fine. Kind of want to change the angle of this crow, though. Gotta go more this way. Okay, and since this is a lot of composition wrangling, I'm not going to render things out just yet. I'm going to wait and make sure that I still like the way this looks in 5 minutes. You know, as I tend to do. So now I'm going to draw a few squirrels. What do squirrels look like again? Ugh, man. Never did like squirrels, personally. Personally, I think people are way too willing to find vermin cute. Okay, so they got a derpy little head and a derpy little body, and they are just like derpiest looking creatures, I swear. I think as long as I emphasize the very curly tail, it'll look like a squirrel. So I'll just do the kind of basics to get the shape of the head down and the body. I don't think I'm gonna do anything too interesting with them, and then we'll just bring out a big bushy curly tail. I will do my best to make the vermin cute. I think cute suits the atmosphere of this picture very well. Let's see, I think I gotta let this little guy poke his head this way a little. Something like that. Frankly, I think they're a little bit easier to draw from the side. And since their position doesn't really matter that much for the sake of the composition, or the angle of their head, I guess I should say, I might as well put it in the position that is easier to draw. Like that, that's fine. I don't know, they like hunch their back. Yeah, that's much more squirrel-like. Okay, let's get this tail looking good. Okay, nose a little pointy, but it's all good. Okay, I'm just gonna redraw both of those guys. So we'll have this little squirrel just kind of running up here. And I'll curl his little tail. And then we'll have this little guy maybe sitting up on the side here. With the curly tail. And I think that's all of them. Okay. So yeah, I'll just see how I feel about the composition here. And then I did look up some references on forests and whatnot, and what they look like. That's kind of what convinced me to go back to deciduous trees instead of just evergreen trees. Because evergreen trees have branches lower down, whereas a lot of deciduous trees don't. So all of their leaves would be concentrated at the top. And for one, that means less leaf drawing for me. But perhaps more importantly, it will leave more space around Chibidoki. And that's kind of what I want. I should be able to make some more interesting shapes like this. So I'm going to just clear what I had drawn before. And I'm just going to look at some pictures real quick. And I will add branches and stuff afterward. And do all these nice things for the leaves here. So let's see what I got. I could also kind of design them around where the birds and squirrels are, so I will be keeping them in mind too. Well, yeah, you gotta kill the things you don't need. It's fine. So it'll be thinner up here, and then it'll get more. And I can kind of group them around to groups of branches and interesting things like that. So I'm just kind of blobbing them in there. This will be fine. I'm just starting with the basics. And then eventually, these will all look like lovely, lovely little trees. You'll actually be surprised how little detail you have to put down in order to make something look like a tree. Okay, and then I want to get some light from the moon in here. Look, I stand by it. That's the beauty of art, is it's your universe. You get to do whatever you want with it. So you do get to kill all the things you don't like. Don't like that guy over there? Just cut off his head. It'll be fine. It's all yours. There are serious consequences for doing that in real life, but in art, you can do what you want. I've heard several writers say that you shouldn't make an enemy of an author because otherwise they'll put you in your book and put you in their book and then kill you. And yeah, accurate. You can do the same with your pictures. Okay, and I think that should be good there. Let's put in some branches. Like, you gotta own your ideas. And I do think that one of the beauty of art is that you can do what you want without hurting anyone. It's a great way to vent out some emotions without, you know, bothering people around you. It's fantastic. Highly recommend. All right. And then I will take some of these branches back a little, just to kind of imply that there's some leaves covering them. And I think that should make them look pretty nice. I kind of need something over here, so I guess I'll draw some more leaves over there. I'm not sure if it makes sense for them to be there, but I don't like the way it looks naked, so I'll put something there. Same with down here. There we go. Give them a little bit of light too. There. And that already looks pretty tree-like to me. I mean, I'm going to clean it up further. It's going to get a little bit more rendering. But, yeah, this is a good start. I think I'm going to plop some stars in the background, too. Since we will kind of see them now. Fortunately, Krita has a nice star brush, and I can be very lazy about it and just kind of gently brush them in as I want. No problem. Okay, and I think I'll actually move the moon over just a little here, so we see just a little bit more of it. I feel like doing a moon texture, so here we go. Let's do it. It's real easy to do. You can pretty much grab any texture brush, set it to multiply, grab the color you use for the moon, and I don't know, brush. Just set the brush back to normal occasionally. It'll be fine. Okay, I am gonna get a slightly darker blue here. Actually, I think I'm gonna make it purple. Yeah, let's get a dark purple in there. And I'll just plop some more stuff down. It's just gonna go plop, plop. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab a slightly lighter color and plop some more stuff down. And there we go. I think that's fine. I don't think I gotta do any more than that. That looks pretty good to me. I do think I want it to glow a little bit more, though. So I'm gonna duplicate this, move it down, make sure it's not locked. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And just expand the radius until it's glowing the way I want it to. And then I think I will even add this to like a color dodge. Addition. Screen. Color dodge looks good. And then I will change the color a little bit. I just want it to look a little bit more glowy. There we go. That's a glowy moon, and that was easy. I promise. Backgrounds aren't nearly as hard as they seem. And they will add so much to your drawings. They will let you tell so many more stories. Like, what's going on here? I don't think it would be half as good if I only drew her like this without all of this. Okay. Let's go render some birds. I think that they're in good spots. And they are just ready to exist properly. Good job, birds. Existing properly is a good way to be. Alright, so I'm just gonna smooth out everything I drew here. I don't think I'm gonna leave them solid black like this. I'm just using the black for now. It's kind of the same as when I was doing this bird and he was solid black at first. The color I draw with doesn't really matter. At least when I'm doing digital. Because I can change it at will. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. Okay. I guess I should actually render the squirrels first, huh? Since this guy's wing is covered by it. Okay. Well, wait, we can do the squirrels first. We can do the squirrels first. Alright, I'm just taking a good look at what squirrels look like. Okay. So we'll give this guy a little bit less of a snout there. That was just, you know, basic sketching. Squirrels are... they got tiny little heads, befitting of their tiny little brains. So... I want to make sure to kind of get that weird triangle shape that makes up a squirrel head, right? And I do think it looks very strange. Yeah, it kind of fans downward like this. I don't plan on making all these little squirrels too detailed, but the ones that are a little bit more visible, like this guy, he's gonna need a little bit more. I'll probably give him some eyes and a little bit of furry texture. But I don't think I have to do much more than that. And then for the ones up here, like this guy, I don't even think I have to do that much. I might move that guy a little bit since I put some leaves there, but we'll see what happens. Okay. And then they got these derpy little ears that just look like the epitome of derp. Yes. I am satisfied with this level of dumbness. So let's get the back of the head there. I made the head too big. The squirrel must be dumber. Okay. And then the body just kind of comes out there. This is a fat as heck squirrel, but I think that's fine. He's stealing cheeseburgers, so it makes sense that he'd get a little bit fat. Okay. And I think that's probably fine for just a basic little shape. Let's see, what color do I want these squirrels to be? Looks like squirrels are a little bit more tan. So I will try to get something a little bit more tan in there. Like a little bit of a lighter brown. More gray. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty squirrel-like. Okay. So what do their silly tails look like? I realize that they don't normally curl them up this tight, but, you know, when I think of a squirrel, I think of the curly tail like this. So I kind of want to keep that shape, just to make them more recognizable as a squirrel. Okay. So I want to make this tail nice and bushy looking, so I'm gonna go add some furry shapes. But I don't... Looking at photos of squirrels, the rest of them actually not that bushy. So I might put in some hints of fur in the shading, but I don't think I need to change the outline at all. I don't think I do. So I'll just focus on making the tail nice and bushy. Okay, I think that's good. And once I fill in his face, that should look like an extra fat squirrel. So, let's go do the next squirrel. I guess this one's a little bit less fat. Well, he'll be fixing that soon if he continues to steal all of Chibidoki's cheeseburgers. Okay, no, I lied. This one's pretty pudgy too. That's fine. They can all be kind of pudgy. I don't know. Are fat squirrels cuter than skinny squirrels? Give him a little hand on the tree too. He's holding on for dear life, man. But I think that's fine. He can do that. This extra chubby thigh there. And much like the last one, I'm only gonna make the tail bushy. The rest... Well, it doesn't have to be. It's fine. Oh yeah, I should give him his derpy little ears, though. There we go. Those are some derpy little ears that are probably too small for this head, but it just makes him look even more derpy, so I think it's fine. Okay, and that's a pretty bushy little tail here, so... There we go. Let's see, where are my other squirrels? Okay, so I got one there. I think I want to move this guy over to this branch here. He'll just sit on this little branch. I'll make him a little smaller too, so it makes a little bit more sense. So he's just gonna sit there. Sit there, munching on burger. Oh yeah, just totally flatten his head there. Okay. Little ear. Little foot. Perfect. I think that is sufficient for this little squirrel. I'll put in a little bit of bushiness on his tail, but he's getting far enough away that I don't actually think his bushiness is going to be as clear as it was to the other ones I drew. And this guy, I think I want to put a little bit more over here. Just shave off the head a little again. There we go. I think that's all he needs. And I think that's all my squirrels. So I guess I'll go ahead and actually, like, detail them. How do I want to do this? I think I'll just do, like, fur patterns and stuff first. So it looks like they have little white bellies. So I'll take this color, bring it up a little bit more toward gray and make it light. And we'll give them little furry tummies here. Yeah, it goes all the way up the back of the tail as well. So we don't see the back here, but I do think we probably see a little bit of it, like... Let's see, this is the top. You probably see a little bit of it right here. Just had to think about that for a second. We'll give him a little furry tummy there. I'll go ahead and plop the light part on all of the little squirrels for now. So this guy doesn't have any tummy showing. So you probably see a little bit of the light spot there. Okay. That should be sufficient for that. I guess I'll go ahead and make it all look nice. Does it go under their chin? Yes, yes it does. Okay. So we'll go all the way up here. I just occasionally check a photo of a squirrel, so this way I know what they look like, so I can draw them accurately. And I'll just go ahead and make this look a little fuzzy. They have very, very short fur, though, so, you know, other than the tail. So I don't want it to be too much. I just want the edge to be less stark and flat, like I cut into this poor squirrel. But rather, to just show that slight hint of fuzz. That's all. And I don't mind if the fur looks coarse. When I look at a photo of a squirrel, their fur looks super coarse to me. I would not want to pet one personally. You know, biting and risk of rabies aside. They don't even look that pleasant to pet. I don't think so, anyway. They got nothing on cats, that's all I'm saying, man. Why pet a squirrel when you can go pet a nice cat? So on the tail, I will make it a little bushier. Just so the tail does look nice and bushy. Cats are great. I like them. Okay, and I think that's good. So let's go get this little guy over here derping around. This guy's a little further away, so I'm leaving his fluff a little bit more implied. I was a little bit more explicit about it in the one that was closer, but this guy is so far away that I don't think we'd see any of the details. And you know, these guys are even further away, so we're not going to see any real fuzz. I just want to make the tail a little fluffier. There. Okay, and that's that part. What other kind of patterns you got there? Okay, so I can do a little black nose, little black eyes. But otherwise, I think just some regular shading will finish off the rest. So I'll do a little black nose, little black eyes. I'll go more to the blues for those. And it does look like they have a bit of white around the eyes as well. So I'll plop that in after. You know, that might be accurate, but I kind of hate it. So instead, I'm going to go for this. I'm just going to make it a circle. They are just going to look like they have no thoughts going on in their head, which, to be fair, I think is very accurate for squirrels. Well, I mean, I think people notice the small details, even if they don't notice it consciously. They probably notice it unconsciously. It depends on what you're talking about, of just the difference between, like, maybe something that takes up 5 pixels on the whole screen versus drawing details on the squirrel. Okay, because those aren't exactly the same thing. Alright, I think this squirrel looks extra no thoughts head empty. And I think that works, so there we go. I want to give him a little highlight in the eye here. Okay, and I'll go ahead and give him a little black nose too. I guess their noses are more brown still. Yeah, they're still brown. But it's a dark brown. Yeah, this guy has no idea what's going on. It's just, oh, food. Nice. And thus Chibidoki is sad. Okay, I'll put a little bit of pink inside the ears. Kind of a dark pink. A little bit more on the red side. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, and then I can add a little bit of fluffiness to them. It looks like their ears aren't that fluffy, but I think it'll be cute with just a little bit of fluff. Oh yeah, this squirrel has no idea what's going on. He's just there and super fat. Okay. So I will give this guy a little eye. He will be just as clueless. Just as clueless. I mean, everyone has days. Best you can do is try to minimize them. Alright, let's give him a little nose. This is the last one that's really going to get any real details. Give him a tiny little nose there. I thought I locked you. Freaking computer constantly think I'm going double clicking when I'm not. It's very rude. I don't appreciate it. There we go. That's a little nose. And yeah, I guess I'll give this guy a little bit of the pink in his ears. I think these only kind of look like squirrels, but I think they're good enough for my purposes, so I'm gonna roll with it. Okay. So I do think I will give these guys little eyes and a little nose up here, but they're not really going to get many more details than that. So he gets his dumb little eye here, a dumb little eye here. I'll put just a touch of white around. Okay, I will put a touch for the nose in there. And I think that's about all they need. Yep, that looks good to me. So there we go. We got some cheeseburger abducting squirrels here. I think I'm going to hold off on their shading. I'm just going to shade the squirrels and the birds at the same time. But I will go ahead and start drawing their burgers. So let's see. This squirrel is going to have his burger like right here. It's going to be bigger than his head. That's why he's so dang fat. I'll go ahead and steal some colors from here. We'll put a little patty in here just so it's a little bit more recognizable as a burger. Let's see, I need to get rid of my lighting just so I can accurately pick the colors here. There we go. Okay, so there's the first bit of food. All right, I think it's time to go shade some birds. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give these squirrels some burgers too. I'll do that before I shade some birds. This one's a little further away, so his burger's going to be a little smaller. What is that? No, seriously, what is that? I have some burger residue out here. Okay. Okay. Let's give this squirrel his burger. It's gonna be like the size of him again. I'm trying to draw them relatively neatly, since I do want to get this into its final state. Okay. And then this guy will have one just up here. And this guy will have one just right here. And they will be shaded accordingly when the time comes. I want to fix the lettuce on this one. There we go. That's better. All right, let's get some cheese on there. I think as long as the color there is there, it's fine. Only so much you can detail when they're this small. Did I give you lettuce? I don't remember. I did. Okay. Now I'll plop some sesame seeds on them. I'm just gonna sprinkle them around as I please. I'm not even gonna try to be ultra random like I normally would. I'm feeling a little bit lazy right now. This is all background burger stuff, so it's like, who cares? I can put them pretty much wherever I want in whatever size and variance I want, and I think it'll read. This isn't like the other one where it was next to her face and probably the most important one to explain the story of the picture. This one's just kind of there. This one is even more just kind of there. Okay. I wonder if those ones are just kind of there. It's like, man, what does that make these? Okay. So there we go. Squirrels now have their burgers. And once again, I think I'm going to shade them a little bit later. Let's go ahead and draw some birds. I think I like where they are. I think that all of the little woodland creatures are doing pretty well now. So, should be good to just shade everything in. I mean, she's so sad. Look at her. She's so sad. She's so sad. But yes, I do feel like the story of the picture is starting to come in. It was kind of there before, but now it's just becoming clear. But this has all been in my head the entire time. So now I'm just making it all come out, so this way people can actually understand what's going on here. This is pretty much the only way I could express depression while still keeping it Chibidoki like and fitting her vibe. That was quite a word to give me. All right, let's give him some tail feathers. I'm being way less particular about these ones than I was the one right in front of her, but I think this reads fine, so I'm gonna keep it like that. All right, let's grab this guy. And we'll just gradually start going through every little bird here. I don't think I drew that many, so I should be able to get through them all. Okay. Draw his little belly. And now we'll get some tail feathers. Okay. And this little guy over here. Alright, I'll get to every single one of them sooner or later. I feel like his tail is a little bit too big, so I'm gonna shrink it down to size just a little. Okay. So now I got this bird way in the distance. He's not going to get any individual feathers or anything. I just kind of want to make sure that his wings are shaped nicely. But this crow is out of here. That burger is never coming back. Never. Okay, and I think that is good. Let's see, I know I have one up here somewhere. Okay, here you are. I want to shape his head a little more nicely. Crows are maybe intelligent for birds, but that's not a high bar. So I don't want their heads to be too big. Okay. Gotta shape those little wings now. And I think that's probably fine. Yeah. That reads as birds flying away. I think it's fine. So now we'll give the birds their burgers. Their magical burgers that do not fall apart when they're being picked up. You know, like this guy. That burger not falling apart. These are magic anime burgers. It'll be fine. Okay, I'm just gonna clear what I have and draw them all again. So I'm setting it up so this way we're seeing the undersides of the crows, so their little feet are like around here somewhere. So we'll see the underside of the burger here. I think we'll see a little bit of this crow's burger, just kind of hanging off the side there. I'll even give this guy just a little tiny indication of burgerness. Okay, and these ones we're mostly seeing from the bottom. So I will add just a, a tiny indication of some of the other ingredients, but not much. In fact, I should probably draw them in the other order, but it's fine. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Let me try that again. Here we go. Yeah, like I said, it's my universe, and I don't see this as a bug. I see it as a feature. Let's see, I think I'll have this one coming out this way. This one this way. This one will not get anything because it is too far away to see details. So these buns will get a little bit of lettuce and cheese, but they will not get any sesame seeds, since this is the bottom of the burger that we're seeing. Okay. Let's get some cheese on. Actually, I should fix this. This does not look good. I want to make sure that everything does look good at this point. I don't want to have to do a bunch of cleaning up afterward. For all this, just these little things in the background here. So we're just going to see like a little sliver of cheese here and then the little bit of the corner. That's it. And I do not plan to draw very much lettuce on any of these. It's only going to get just a tiny little bit. And I don't think we see the top bun. So I'm not going to draw it. So here, I think I'm only going to draw the little corner that kind of comes out. And I won't draw the rest. Maybe just a little over here. Same with this guy. He'll get a little corner. But that's it. Little corner. And that's it. Little corner. And there we go. That is all of them. So I'll give them just a little bit of lettuce. Just a little bit kind of hanging off in a few places. But I gotta make sure that it looks like we're seeing this burger from below, so there won't be that much. Not that much at all. Maybe just touch on that side because why not? Okay, and there we go. So that's the birds and their food. I do want to color them properly. I want them to be a little bit darker than this bird, but not much. I changed my mind. I'm just going to use the same color. That color is already pretty dang dark. Okay. So now I kind of have to decide how I want to shade the birds here, because I don't want them to be detailed like this guy, but they do need a little bit of lighting. I think I'll just shade on the same layer I drew them on to stop me from getting too excited about these things. I'll just go ahead and give this guy a little bit of light here. Just, no, I don't know. I guess something kind of like this works. Yeah, that should be fine. I'll add just a little indication of featheriness, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna have to clean that up almost certainly, so. Put a little bit of light on the top of the bird here. Just some of the smallest indication of feathers and a body and all that. And I will lower the contrast on this. I'm just using this color for now. just for now. Okay, grab this one. And before I render this and make it look nice, I do want to make sure that I actually like the amount that I'm putting on here. Because it might be a little bit too much. I don't know. So I'll be zooming out, taking the colors back a little bit, and making sure that everything is to my liking. This guy I don't think needs very much. Needs less than even the other birds, and this guy needs none at all. This guy will be getting a little bit less than even some of the other ones, but I want to give him a little. Okay. So there we go. Now let's find the colors that I want for each bird here. So this guy I don't think needs as much as some of the other ones. This guy I think needs a bit more than some of the other ones since he's closer. This guy doesn't need very much at all. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, actually. That'll look really nice once I get all the leaves rendered out. Oh. Hands are cold. It's making it hard to draw. Okay. Let's go ahead and smooth this out then. So I have the colors picked. Now it's just time to make it all look nice. This guy's closer to us, so he'll get a little bit more done with him. You know, I probably should have shaded the burgers first, but oh well, here we are. This is fine. And then I'll just make sure that everything is nice. And then I'll shade the burgers. It'll be fine. And I don't mind if the colors don't match up perfectly. Again, it's fine. And then I'll add some gradient lighting in a couple of spots too. I already know exactly how I'm gonna do it. Just have to finish out what I'm actually doing here. Okay, and everything is looking so much less blobby. It is fantastic. And I'm happy that I was able to draw this part today. Because, I don't know, man, just looking at this nonsense, I feel like the picture makes sense now. Everything that I've been wanting to say is now here. So it feels good. The story is complete. Now it's just a matter of finishing it out. And I get to post it on the internet, and that's always a good time. I like posting my stuff on the internet. It actually took me a really long time to be able to work up my courage enough to post my stuff on the internet. But to be fair to me, I wasn't very good back then. So everything looked way, way worse. I'm a lot happier with the way my art looks now, so it's a lot easier to go and post it on the internet now. Although I swear, if you had asked me 5 years ago if I'd ever stream my art process, I would have said no, because I don't think I could stand letting people see my unfinished stuff, and now I'm just here and being like, yeah, it's not done. Don't worry about it. And I'm not worried about it either. Feels good, honestly. No, I'm kind of glad that these birds don't have to be as detailed as the foreground bird. Because it would take a while to draw all these birds if they did. But I can just... I can just keep them like this, and I think they're perfect. I think that they look great, and that they look fine like this. I will give this guy a little bit of kind of the under feathers here. I forgot to draw them when I was over here before. That's why I came back. But you know, just some of these extra feathers on the wing. But I think I can leave them mostly implied. You know, just kind of like that. That's fine. That's totally fine. So, I'll just keep going bird to bird. I don't think I'll give this guy any, like, feathery texture or anything. I don't think he needs it. He's too far away. He is too far away for us to see a lot of the details. I actually kind of like this thing I accidentally drew, though, so I'll keep that. But for the most part, you know, there's not going to be a lot of stuff going on here. This bird has taken off, and that burger is never coming back. Never. I guess I'll leave that one there too. I kind of like it. And gets good ideas sometimes. And it's times like this that I'm like, wait, why did I draw so many birds again? Why did I think that was a good idea? And then I look at the picture and I'm like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. So I guess that's why I drew so many birds. And I kind of want to... oh right, I don't use any eraser, I just use the dark color. There we go. Kind of want to fade off the lighting over here. I don't want those to be quite so bright. There we go. So I might be going back and forth a little bit in order to get all those colors right, but it's all good. Whatever has to be done. For the sake of a nice picture. Okay, and I think that should be pretty good. I do want to lessen the light here just a little. I think it's a little bit strong. There we go. That makes the light look a little bit more directional. Alright. So I got, what, 4 birds left, including this one? But he's not getting any light, so I think this one's already done, actually. So, 3. 3 more birds. Alright, 3 more birds, then we'll do some squirrels. Stretch. This one's actually not taking me as long as I thought it would. I'm not sure if I'll finish it today, but if I don't, I'm gonna be pretty dang close. I don't know, maybe I should push for finishing it today, just so this time I don't have that, or next time rather, I don't have that awkward moment of, wait, I have like, 30 minutes of stuff to do, but I want to stream for 3 hours. I don't know if I want to start the next picture right away, but I still want to stream for 3 hours. It's okay. I'll push a little harder. And I'll see if I can finish it off today, because I do feel like I am legitimately that close. Because trees, when they're far away, you don't have to do a lot to make them look tree-like. And that is pretty much the last big thing to do. It's like I got a few more feathers to smooth out here. I got some squirrels to shade. But after that, it's pretty much just trees. Oh yeah, and I have lighting too. Okay. That might be a lot for an hour, but I'll do my best. No more time taking, just go. Go and go and go. While I'm fixing the light on the birds, I always like to zoom out just to make sure I get it the way I want. Makes it a little easier, I think. Okay, this guy's definitely gonna need some of his color taken back. That's okay. I'll do it all at the end. That is the easiest time. So this way I have everything mostly painted, and then I can just make those fine adjustments with absolutely no pressure. Especially since I know that I won't have to paint over them anymore in theory. In theory. One more, and then I want to do a little bit more atmospheric perspective lighting on them, but that's easy, so it's fine. It's super easy. All I'm gonna do is put a little bit of sky color on the ones that are further back. That is it. Perspective sounds scary, but honestly, once you understand a lot of the rules, it's not so bad at all, because you can do so much of it with lighting and not a straight edge. You just gotta understand the rules, and it also helps that I'm not drawing architecture or anything here. Architecture, you gotta be a little bit more particular about things, I think. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do to blend some of the background birds into the background a little better, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the sky color nearby to them. Just a little bit. This one a little bit more. I will even make it a little bit lighter on that side. There. And now it looks like the birds are starting to fly away. This guy's gonna stay the same. He's close enough that I think this is correct. All right. Let's go shade some squirrels and some burgers, I guess. I think I'll do the burgers first. Okay, I already have the purple I'm using up on my swatch up here, so I will grab that. Set my layer to multiply. And then I will just shade in as I think it needs, which, to be fair, is going to be just about everywhere. Actually, I should zoom out to 100% and make sure that I like the way that I have all of my ingredients looking before I fully shade these. Okay, I actually do have to hide the swatch because I have to shade a bird up there. Okay. Let's clean up the burgers. I have them mostly clean, but they're a little bit messier than I want them. Just so I'll just finish up those last few details that I am unhappy with, and then I can shade them. And with any luck, everything will start working together. Fortunately, I do think I got them mostly right. There's just a couple of areas that they're not quite working. So it's not taking long to clean up at all. I'm already on the last one, I'm pretty sure. These are far enough away that I can largely draw random shapes and it'll all work out. Okay, let's turn the dark back on. And now I can figure out where I want the basic like rim lighting and all that to go. So I just want a little bit on the edge here, I think. Not that much at all. Just where I think the light will hit it. I don't think any will hit down there, so I'll just leave that like that. I'm gonna Put a little bit of kind of meaty texture on the patty here. And that'll do it. I just don't think this needs that much happening. Just enough to give it a little bit of presence. That's all I want. All right, I missed one, so I better go back and do that. I was about to say, all right, I think we're good, and then I was like, oh no, I didn't do this burger. Can't forget this one. Okay, and there we go, for real this time. Okay, and then I just want a few shadows of just where I think things are a little bit darker. So basically shadows relative to everything else on the burger as opposed to caused by the light. So these are going to be a bit more subtle, and some of the other ones might not even get any. Yeah, I think this one needs just a little bit, like right through there, but that's about it. I don't think this needs any at all. I don't think that one needs any, and I don't think that one does either. And much like the birds, I'm gonna do the same thing with the burgers here. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the sky color and shade them accordingly. It'll be a little bit more noticeable on these guys than it was on the birds, I think. Just because the birds were already kind of blue and the burgers aren't. Okay, there we go. So that's the birds and their burgers done. Let's shade some squirrels. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to put them all in dark here. Set my layer to multiply, and then I will light them up in places where I think they're being hit by moonlight. Yeah, I think this squirrel's getting his tummy hit by the moonlight quite a lot. And then I'm just adding a little bit of fur texture in the light as well. Just a little. Alright, and these guys, I think this guy is still gonna have a little bit of a light side over there, and this guy like on top. Okay, and I feel like the shadows are still a little bit messy, so I'm gonna go back over them real quick. And just make sure that everything is, you know, to my liking, in the way that I want it to be. I think it's important that you do the little things that make you like your own art, regardless of how necessary it is. So for here, I felt like the shading was getting a little bit blobby, so I just want to go back over it one more time. and make sure that it looks nice. So unlike the crow in the foreground and Chibidoki, where I put a bunch of highlights and stuff on them to make them look nice, I'm not going to be doing that with the birds or the squirrels. I don't think it's necessary. I already think they look pretty nice, honestly. So I think this is the perfect amount of detail for them. I will go and add another shadow layer just to get some additional stuff going. Make sure that it is all looking good with each other and that everything is doing what it needs to do. And then these guys, I think, look fine. Yep, those look fine. Okay, and then I just wanted a little bit of extra shadows and places that I think need them. So kind of like on his back here where I don't think any light hits, I'll just add a little bit of dark and make it a little furry. So that this way it looks very, very squirrely. But you can see, I'm not being super particular about it. Only a little particular. Only a little. Okay, that should be good. I don't think the ones in the back need it, but I do think that this guy needs it a little. Mostly just in the tail. I just want to make it look a little curlier. Okay, and I think that should be good for the squirrels. Yeah, I don't feel like they stand out too much. So let me go and add the atmospheric perspective again. So I'll just be taking a little bit of the sky color and painting it on top of the squirrel. There. I think I'll do a little bit on this guy, just not quite as much. Alright, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. So now let's get the burgers. So, you know, same story all the way through. I think I will clean up the sesame seeds a little bit before I add all the dark spots, but that's like the last detail on the burgers that I feel the need to fix up here. I just feel like the ones here are a little bit messy. I don't mind being a little bit messy here, but there are limits. There are limits. I just want everything to look good. The ones here actually don't look too bad. Okay. So I think that should be good. I keep accidentally overwriting my shadow color, which is perhaps a little unfortunate, but it's fine, I suppose. So, same story. Got a layer set to multiply, covering it with purple. And then I'm just gonna go over it with the eraser and erase the parts that I think are in light. For this one, I think it's just here. These guys, it'll just be like this. And for this guy, he will apparently need a little bit more just because his ingredients are actually facing the light here. So this guy actually gets slightly more detail than some of the other ones. It just kind of worked out that way. There. Now for just... I guess they're basically occlusion shadows. Just areas where I think the light really just doesn't hit at all. The darkest spots. These guys I don't really think need any. And I'll just put a little bit like underneath the squirrel here. Okay, and I think that should do it. And now for atmosphere. So this guy will get a little bit. This guy will get a little bit. And this guy will get a little bit. Okay. So there we go. That's it for all the animals, so I do think that all that's really left is the trees and then the atmosphere shadows on Chibidoki. Alright, let's do some trees. So, I've been saying, you don't really have to do that much to make trees look tree-like. Like this is pretty messy. So I definitely gotta fix it up. I'm even gonna take a look at my photo references real quick, just to make sure I'm doing it right, but I think I am. So I'm just gonna smooth the edges here, but I'm gonna keep them, like, leaf-like. That's the best way I can describe it. I'm keeping them kind of organic shaped. Making sure that they have lots of rough little patches. And I'll put some holes here and there, just places where the leaves aren't fully covering things. And that'll help bring out some tree likeness too. I don't like that one. So this is just going to be a lot of little abstract shapes all the way across. And then it'll get really good once I add all of the shadows and highlights. You can see that I added some highlights here. I think I'm actually going to go kill them all. You know, as I do. But I want to keep the color. Hold on, let me get the color first, and then I'll kill them all. Okay. So now they can be properly resurrected when I'm ready to have them. But for now, I'd like to just focus on the shape. I'll even go ahead and kind of hide the branches for now. And I'll just go all the way around until all of my trees are tree-shaped. All there is to it, really. Just gotta make them tree-shaped. You can see I'm not using any of the stamps or anything. These trees are far away, so I don't actually want you to be able to make out each individual leaf. And I see that I have some residue. Are you from a bird? You are from a bird. I don't like that. There we go. But yeah, these trees are too far away for you to be able to make out the individual leaf shapes. Just go try looking out your window, or if you don't have any trees out your window, look for a photo on Google of a tree from far away, and you will not see the leaves. You'll just see rough, bumpy textures like this. But your brain understands that those are leaves. It knows. Because your brain is a liar. And it does everything it can to try to simplify information for you. And I don't blame the brain for doing this. It helps us in our day-to-day life. But it does make it hard to draw. It does indeed make it harder to draw. Hello again, Wayu. I don't like some of the little holes I put in over here. I don't like these. I'm gonna do it again. Well, good idea. I hope it went well. I've finished drawing most of the background, so now I'm just doing some trees. That's the last thing. It is a burger. There are many burgers. But yeah, at the rate I'm going, it's honestly looking like I might finish the picture today, which is exciting. Hold on, let me finish up these leaves and then I'll zoom out. Don't worry, I'll have to check to make sure that the leaves are working, you know, momentarily. I'm just doing them like one bunch at a time. But I have to zoom out periodically to make sure that they actually look good and that I'm putting holes in the canopy in the right spots and stuff like that. Phew. There sure are a lot of trees, though. I actually want this to be covering a little bit more. I mean, it's not done yet, man. I know how to draw, thank you. But I can only do one thing at a time, and right now, I am just getting the shape right. Oh, you're not part of a bird. Okay, what are you from then? Why can I not draw there? I have all the other layers above you hidden. I do not know what that is from. But it was not from a bird, which surprised me. Are you sure it's not from a bird, Self? Yeah, it's not. So it's probably... Ah, yeah, it's from the foreground bird. That makes sense. Okay. Alright, let me make sure those leaves are good, but there you go. There's the zoomed out view here. I actually don't like this. But yeah, looks like I'm starting to fill in the canopy nicely here. Let's see. Are there any places that I want to cut into? No, I think the shape is pretty alright here. Alright. So I'm just going to go and paint all the little leaves here. Then, you know, once that's done, I can shade it all. I just like to get the shapes down first. That's just always been my process. Okay, yeah, I think that's starting to look good. So, let's see. This area here is a very important one because it's there shining in the moon. So I want to make sure that everything over here looks very, very nice. And that it's overlapping the moon in ways that I think is appealing. So I want some of these little clumps of leaves to kind of stick out there. And I want there to be a few more gaps in the leaves here. I want to make it look like this is nearing the top of a tree, so the groups of leaves are getting a little more thinned out. And you can see that I'm also making my groups of them smaller and thinner as I get higher up. In fact, I think here is a little bit too thick, so I'm going to break this up just a little. But this should look pretty good once I get through it all. I think this is going to be the most time-consuming part of the stuff I have left to do. Because I think all that's left is trees, and then Chibidoki's lighting. This one's going to be nice once I finish it. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. I am just so excited to finish off all these little things. It's almost there. But yeah, I think I actually can finish this today. 30 minutes to finish trees and lighting and color correction. Yeah, that seems doable if I don't dally. Which, to be fair, it's me, so... But I would like to try. I would. So I'll just try to perfect all these little shapes as best I can, as quickly as I can. But I think that's about right for there, so I think I just have this little patch over here left. And that'll be all of the trees. Let's see about what I want to do for the trunks. I'm not quite sure yet. Fortunately, there aren't actually that many trunks showing, so I should have a pretty easy time. I might do Chibidoki's lighting first, actually. But I do want to get these trees good, because I do think that the way the trees look will affect her lighting, because we're going to get some moonlight filtering through the trees, and it'll be very nice. Okay, looks like I got a bit more bird residue. So I should take care of that. I definitely don't want excess bird residue on my trees. That just sounds unfortunate, you know? Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and add the light spots here. So all I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to start by brushing it all through. I don't want a ton of contrast here, but basically around every edge, I want some light. I want the light spots. The ones directly facing the moon will get bigger light spots, and the parts facing away will get a little bit less. But they'll all get a little bit. And I will go and smooth this out after I kind of have them all drawn in. So this will make it all look very, very nice, very much alive. And now all of these things can just be nicely lit. But still just through a stage where I'm being very messy about it. I find it easier just to place it all while I'm zoomed out like this. It's pretty hard to do zoomed in. So that's why it's just gonna be messy for a little while. I don't think I could make it neat while I'm zoomed out this far. But I can't see where to place them if I'm not zoomed out this far, so here we are. And then I just gotta make these patterns a little bit less regular. Because right now, this doesn't look very leaf-like to me. So I will have to fix that, but I want to be a little bit more zoomed in for that. Okay, and then I think I can add the places where there will be shadows. So let me pick a color for that. That's gonna be a lot in the areas around the animals and stuff. I don't think that these animals are actually going to be casting any shadows on the leaves at all, but I do think it looks nice like that, so I will still do it like that. Okay, and I think that's about where I want it. And I will probably add just some very, very bright spots over there and a little bit of kind of the atmospheric perspective I've been talking about at various times while shading backgrounds and stuff. So let's go and clean this up, make it all a little bit more leaf-like. I don't want the bunches of leaves to be, like, too big or too small here. So I will just get it. Get it all like that. And to an extent, I think I could actually probably get away with blurring this a little. I'm going to keep the layer locked, so this way the edges of the leaves are good. Do I like it? No, I hate it. Okay, never mind. We're not going to blur it. It's okay. It doesn't take that much to draw trees like this. But actually, with as much as I have left to do, I still want to do some branches. I still need to render out the rest of this. And I still want to do the lighting on Chibidoki. I think I'd rather take my time on the leaves here, so I think I might actually stop here for today. I'll go ahead and turn my layers back on. I'll leave the branches hidden since I didn't really do anything with those. But where is Chibidoki's dark? Here we are. So, yeah, I think I can be pretty happy with that progress. And I should be able to just finish this off on a Sunday. Yeah, I think I'd like to take my time on the leaves and the lighting on Chibidoki. I think that'll go a long way. And I will just take my sweet time. So yeah, we'll finish it off next time. But I think I will stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.